The 2-2. Popped up. Sandoval in foul territory. Giants win. 0-2. He's done it.
All right, guys, welcome to Rivalry Sports Talk. I'm Malik, this is Frank, and today we are going to have the playoff predictions for you. So we're going to break it down for you. We're going to start with wild card, and this was very, very tough for us to make our picks. And we were talking, and we were like, who's actually going to make it, who's not?
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it was really, really tough for us. But as you can see, I got my blanket back. I'm very, very happy. Got the sign back, and Frank was kind enough. Well, he's not a Giants fan, so he was like, it's burning my hand.
It was.
So he gave me the 100 pence known, and I was very happy to have that. So get ready for the playoff predictions.
All right, so how we're going to break this down is we're just going to start from the NL, wild card, move our way all the way to World Series to see who makes it there. And then we are going to go from the AL, and me and Noah will just be bouncing back off of games. So let's get started? Yep. Let's do this. All right, Noah, who you got first?
All right, so in the wild card for the National League, I have the Mets in 1, Arizona. So Mets, I think they have the better pitching, and their hitting is just unbelievable. So that's why I picked the Mets over Arizona.
And in my wild card game, I have the Dodgers visiting Pittsburgh. And it's Clayton Kershaw versus, more than likely, Garrett Cole, maybe Francisco Liriano. I can't go against my boy Clayton Kershaw. I have the Dodgers moving on in that series play.
All right, so after wild card, I got the Mets versus the Cubs. The Cubs are in the 1 spot, and I picked the Cubs 3-1. Arrieta will shut them down, and I think the Cubs, the hitting is just, like I said about the Mets, the Cubs have a powerful lineup, so that's why I picked the Cubs.
Alright, so I also have the Cubs in the 1 spot versus my Dodgers, and I just think that Cubs lineup is too much for a beat-up rotation like the Dodgers. I have the Cubs moving on 3-1.
In the 2 spot, I picked my Giants, and in the 3 spot, I put the Nationals. I picked Giants sweeping them 3-0. I think they're going to sweep them because last year the Nationals, their season wasn't that good, and I just don't think they can pick it up after that. So Giants 3-0.
And it's my 2-3. I have the Giants in the 2 spot, and the Mets in the 3 spot. I think it's going to be a good series. It's going to be a pitcher's duel series. I don't see anybody scoring over 2 runs in this whole series, but I do have the Giants moving on 3-2.
All right, so in our National League Championship, I have the Cubs versus the Giants, and this was so hard for me. I picked the Cubs 4-3, so Game 7 they win it. That's going to be another pitching duel, and the Giants have the playoff experience, yes, but these Cubs, they are hungry to make it to that World Series, and that's why I picked them.
And in my national championship game, I have the Cubs versus the Giants, and I have the Cubs moving on in 7. I think it's going to be a great series to watch. It's going to be probably this is going to be one of the most fun series to watch in all of the playoffs. But I do have the Cubs moving on to win that now pennant. All right, and now we move on to AL. I have the Texas Rangers hosting the Red Sox in the wild card game. It's going to be more David Price versus, I'm going to say Cole Hamels, but it possibly could be Yu Darvish. I have Texas moving on. I think their lineup's too good, and I don't think Price is going to pitch well in the playoffs again. I think it's going to be just a lingering kind of thing, maybe for another couple years.
All right, so I have the Angels visiting the Yankees, and I have the Angels winning that game. Angels, Mike Trout, Pujols, these guys are also hungry. They really want to make it deep in the playoffs. They always get close, but so that's why I picked the Los Angeles Angels.
Okay, at the overall number 1 seed in the AL, I have the Houston Astros versus the Texas Rangers. I think this is going to be a good series. It's going to be a division rivalry series. I do, however, have the Astros moving on 3-2. I just think that being at home is going to be so big for them. and they're just gonna hit bombs all day.
And in my one spot, I have the defending champions, the Kansas City Royals, and in the fourth spot are the Los Angeles Angels. And surprisingly, I went with the Angels just because, like I said, they are hungry, and I would really, really want to see this upset, and I really believe it will happen. And so, Angels going to the American League Championship.
Alright, in my 2-3 game, I have Toronto in the second spot, and I have the defending champions Kansas City Royals in the 3 spot. I think this is the year Toronto gets their revenge on them. I have them moving on 3-1 in the series to go play the Houston Astros in the ALCS.
So in my 2 spot, I have the Blue Jays, and in my 3 spot, I have the Astros. And I picked the Blue Jays 3-2, Game 5. That's going to be a great game to watch, great series. You'll be on the edge of your seat the whole time. But Blue Jays, after what happened to them last season, they are really going to look back at that and use that anger or frustration, I should say, and take it all out on the Astros, and it will be a great series to watch. But Blue Jays going to the ALCS.
Alright, my ALCS, I have the Houston Astros and the Toronto Blue Jays. I have the Astros moving on. It's going to be a fun series to watch. There is going to be absolutely zero pitching in this series whatsoever, but I do have the Astros moving on 4-2.
Alright, in the ALCS, I have the Angels versus the Blue Jays. I picked the Toronto Blue Jays 4-1, and I just think the Blue Jays overpower Angels by far. The hitting is just unbelievable. Their lineup is crazy. Angels have a good lineup too, but Blue Jays have been in this situation before, and they're going to take it this time, and they're going to face who I put in the World Series, the Cubs. So Cubs versus Blue Jays.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Alright, in the World Series, I have the Cubs versus the Astros. A lot of this is going to depend on the All-Star game, who wins, who gets home field advantage. I'm going with my gut here and saying the AL is going to win the All-Star game, and that's going to give the Astros just the slightest edge, and they are going to beat the Chicago Cubs this year 4-3 in the World Series and become World Series champions.
Interesting. So I have the Cubs versus the Blue Jays, and I also think the American League is going to win the All-Star game. That gives the Blue Jays home field advantage. It's going to be two powerful teams up against each other. But Blue Jays, I feel like they are going to come through. They're going to come through big in their situations that they have. So that's why I picked the Blue Jays 4-2. Blue Jays World Series champs.
Alright guys, and that is going to do it for us today. We just gave you our World Series predictions. That was not easy whatsoever.
No, that was very, very difficult. I've gone through some very difficult tests, and that was a difficult one.
That was definitely a difficult one. Guys, thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, drop a like down below. Comment if you have any suggestions, have anything to say. And on next week's show, we have 3 very special guests for you guys. When we get together with them, you will find out. That'll be our next video. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching very much. And as always, respect the rivalry, and we'll talk to you guys later. And there goes Sergio again.
How come he's always going down? He doesn't deserve that. Poor guy.
Okay, yeah, no.
Rivalry supposed to.
Yeah. Shut up. Shut up. Damn it. The worst part is I put that blooper in there in this video right here.
Did you?
Yeah, so it's gonna work. That's gonna work out perfectly.